Hi, this is Marie Davis, and I'd like to read Lady and the Tramp. It's a Walt Disney story. One Christmas Eve, Jim Dear and his wife gave his wife Darling a present. Darling opened the present carefully. Out popped a little puppy. "Oh, what a lovely puppy," said Darling. "Let's call her Lady." Whoops. At bedtime, Jim tucked Lady into a cozy basket. "That's your very own bed," said Jim. But Lady didn't want her very own bed. She was lonely. So the small puppy climbed up the big stairs. She found a much better place to sleep, right at the foot of Jim Dear's bed. Every day, Lady grew a little bigger. She did many important things around the house. In the morning, Lady woke Jim up. Then Lady brought him his slippers. Lady barked good morning to the birds and the butterfly. She even learned how to pick up the newspaper and carry it into the house. Soon Lady made friends with the other dogs in the neighborhood. There was a sad-faced bloodhound named Trusty. There was a sturdy Scotty called Jock. Jock showed Lady his store of hidden bones. The three of them often played together. When Jim came home from work, he whistled, and Lady ran to greet him. Jim would pat her on the head and say, "Good dog." After dinner, Lady curled up by the fire. Darling was knitting tiny clothes. "It's just the three of us now," said Darling, "but soon we will have a baby." And Lady was very happy. One stormy night, the doctor came to the house, and that night the baby was born. The next morning, Lady peeked in the bedroom. "Come in and meet the new baby," said Darling, "but don't wake her up." Lady looked at the sleeping baby. "When the baby is bigger, you will play together," said Darling. Lady wagged her tail. "A new baby in the house." One day, Jim told Lady, "We're going away for a few days. Aunt Sarah's coming to help, and you must help too." "Lady will be a good babysitter," Darling said with a smile. Jim and Darling were in a hurry, and they drove away as soon as Aunt Sarah arrived. Aunt Sarah looked very mean. Lady hid behind the door, then she ran upstairs to guard the baby. The baby smiled happily at Lady, but Aunt Sarah was angry. She swung a broom at Lady and knocked over a table. Lady ran away. "Get out, you bad dog," Aunt Sarah said. "Get out and stay out." Poor Lady, no one had ever called her a bad dog before. She crept away, her ears drooping. Lady walked, and no one seemed to see her. But some mean dogs barked at her. Lady ran, and at last she ran into the railroad yard. Nobody was around. Finally, Lady flopped down and fell asleep. Early the next day, a train pulled into the railroad yard. Out jumped a big, strong dog, and his name was Tramp. Tramp traveled from place to place. He took care of himself. Tramp stretched. He felt good in this new place, and then he caught sight of Lady. At first, Lady was afraid. She remembered the rough-looking dogs who had chased her. But Tramp looked friendly. Lady liked his face. "Arf, arf," barked Tramp happily. He liked Lady right away, and the two walked away together. Lady trusted Tramp. Soon they came to a chicken farm, and Tramp's eyes lit up. He began to dig a hole under the fence. Lady watched Tramp. She looked at the chickens too. She'd never seen chickens before. Lady followed Tramp under the fence. Screech, cackle, squawk. The chickens were scared. Lady was scared too. But Tramp was having a fine time. What a noise Tramp and the chickens made. Suddenly the man from the dog pound came by. Tramp ran off. But Lady wasn't quick enough. The man grabbed her and threw her into the wagon. What was Lady to do? Tramp had disappeared. She was trapped in a rolling cage, and there were strange dogs all around her. But these dogs were friendly, and they liked pretty little Lady. They told Lady she would be safe. She had a dog tag on her collar. And sure enough, the dog pound man took Lady home the next day. Aunt Sarah was not pleased to see Lady. She had a big chain on Lady's collar. "Stay outside," she shouted. Lady couldn't sleep that night. She heard a rustle in the leaves. A rat! It was heading straight for the house. Lady wanted to run after the rat, but her chain kept her back. Tramp heard Lady's barking and came running. He'd been looking for her, and just then Lady's chain snapped. Lady and Tramp ran into the house and followed the rat up the stairs. They found it under the armchair in the baby's room. Tramp knew exactly what to do with it. Tramp was tired after his fight with the rat. Suddenly Aunt Sarah ran into the room. She chased Tramp in a closet, then she whacked him with a broom. Just then Jim and Darling arrived in the taxi. "Thank goodness you're back. I found a great big mutt in the baby's room, and this little dog wasn't any help," and she pointed at Lady. "What's going on?" Lady asked Jim. Lady barked and jumped up and down. "She's trying to tell us something," said Darling. Lady ran up the stairs and Jim followed her. Lady led him right up to the big chair where Tramp had fought with the rat. Jim saw the dead rat. He guessed what had happened. "That dog helped protect the baby," he said. Tramp crept out of the closet. "Good, brave dog," said Jim. "You must stay with us forever." Aunt Sarah put on her hat and walked out. Tramp became one of the family. Every day he and Lady went to see the baby. Tramp made friends with Trusty and Jock, too. Soon it was Christmas again. Jim Dear and Darling were playing with their baby. And this Christmas there were special presents. Puppies! Lady and Tramp were very proud of them, and they all had a very, very Merry Christmas.